Welcome back to the Affaka Show, NFL Week 9. It's moving fast, and let's just be honest, these past couple weeks of the NFL have been what the kids call a snooze fest. But Week 9, I believe it in my heart, we are going to do some good. We have some good games. To recap the Thursday night game in 2 sentences is Baltimore should have covered that 7.5 spot. I know that the NFL is changing that. We're on sentence 3. I don't care. I bet on Baltimore minus 8.5 anyway, or minus 7.5 anyway, and guess what? It hit. The NFL, the favorites, the bottom teams, the disparity has never been more real. And as I am giving this intro right now, I realize I never wrote out the story portion of this. So, what are we going to do for the story portion? We're gonna make it up. Welcome to the Affaka Show. Starting off, you're just here for the picks. Let's be honest, we know that. Broncos versus the Texans. Broncos versus the Texans. Not a big total in this game. I think it was sitting at like 41.5 when I was doing my calculations for the bets I should place, not place this week. But right now, it is a 1 p.m. game. The Texans are 1.5 point favorites with 17% of the bets and 23% of the money backing them. Look, old NFL, this would have mattered. This would be oh my God, just based off this bet money percentage, in the line movement, I mean, open up Texans plus 1.5, move to minus 1.5, you'd want the Texans. Who do you want in this matchup? Let's dive in and find out. The Broncos last week destroyed the terrible Dallas Cowboys secondary. Now, both started off this game throwing a pick, but it didn't matter. The Broncos stood up and they ended up scoring 44 on them. 4 points. If you want to know how many points that is, that's a lot. Simple as that. So Sean Payton, after the game previous where they got shut out the first 3 quarters from the Giants, they were like, hey, you have to play. You have to play. The guy, as Stu Finder said, is a psychopath when he was, he has people in the organization. Is that true? Is that not true? I'm not here to tell you that. What I'm here to tell you is, though, that the Dallas Cowboys offense looks like Jabba the Hutt in a beauty pageant contest. It does not look pretty. So in order to judge a whole team, but the Broncos offense just off of Dallas's defense, that doesn't make much sense, people. That doesn't make much sense. The real question is all right, is this offense good or not? Texans, they destroyed the Niners last week. CJ Stroud was able to move the ball efficiently without having any type of wide receivers downfield. And that's because he's going to be able just to get the ball moving this week if he has an ounce of protection. Now, they're likely going to get Nico and Kirk back, so these are 2 of his now top receivers. No one with Tank Dell. Tank Dell was awesome. Too bad he's not playing anymore. But 2 of his great wide receivers that he's going to get back. Nico, phenomenal. Kirk, better than what he has right now, right? He's getting more weapons. The key matchup in this game is really defined by the Broncos' pass rush. Now, the Broncos are famous for bringing in an extra guy to rush the passer. CJ Stroud, his offensive line, famous for not stopping anyone from rushing him. However, last game they played the Niners. The Niners had basically no one to rush him. CJ Stroud had time, and he carved it up. CJ Stroud just needs the appropriate amount of time, like every other, but not every other, like a normal quarterback in this league, and he'll be able to carve up defenses. Now, with Surtain out, that is a huge miss for this Denver team. Why? Because they could always bring in an extra person because Surtain covered, 85% of the field. So with Surtain out, this is going to expose it. The Texans defense is still strong, though. I get it. Oh, well, you saw the Broncos offense rolling. Sean Payton, offensive mastermind, 44 points, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. Texans defense is for real. They're going to be able to slow down this Broncos offense. Look, they're going to hold this Broncos offense to under 21 points. The question is, can the Texans score 24 points or 23 points to cover? The answer, people, is yes. I love the Texans to win by 2 or more here. It's a very fishy line with the way Broncos have been playing. The Texans record, the books are begging everyone to take the Broncos. I'm not biting on it. Texans 2 or better. Next game, Giants-Niners, 1 o'clock game. This is what I'm toting the injury bowl because sadly, both these teams are better when they have all their players healthy. Do they have their players healthy? No, they do not. So this matchup's going to be a little bit difficult. Right now, the Giants are 2.5 point dogs with 36% of the bets and 49% of the money backing them. So there's some disparity there from tickets to dollars. Cam Scabito, huge loss on Sunday. Sad, huge loss. I think everyone loved him. I hate the Giants. I hate the Giants more than I hate the Cowboys, which is rare for an Eagles fan. But even I was sad to see the guy go down because he's awesome. Now, Tyrone Tracy, he was injured. That's really where Cam got more of his playing time. Tyrone Tracy's not playing. Tyrone Tracy's not bad by any means, but he doesn't have the energy that Cam did. When Cam, with that tandem of him and Jackson Dart, that was fun. Don't have that. But Tyrone Tracy, not a huge downgrade from just a straight up playing style to Cam. He doesn't have that gonna pop you in the mouth and just run for first down, but he has more of a finesse to him. But look, we saw him get in the end zone last game. Jackson Dart's going to have to do it without his weapons. I mean, Neighbors is out and Cam's out. So it's going to be very tough for him to do that. He just has to dig deep and figure out a way to move this ball. And the receivers who do they have? I don't know, Wandale Robinson? I can't even say his name because I have a speech impediment. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to buy his jersey. They don't really have anyone for Jackson Dart to throw to. Maybe Theo Johnson's getting moving a little bit, the tight end. But you can only do so much with one tight end. Last game, it just seemed like they ran out of juice with this Eagles team. And it wasn't even close past the second half. It wasn't. They were fighting, and everything fell apart. Speaking of falling apart, the Niners absolutely fell apart last week. Mac Jones, it was kind of getting rumblings of is Brock Purdy going to have a job when he comes back? Because Mac Jones has been more than serviceable. And there was a moment where you thought, they paid him the money, but maybe he could come back. Whatever. He had a bad day. He had a bad day overall, and I don't blame him. This Texans defense is, what do we say? For real, that they played last game. Now, he couldn't get much going offensively. He did throw for 2 touchdowns. It did hurt, but he saw some flashes of where he is serviceable, but they couldn't get it moving. They just seem totally out of sync right now, and they're going to be desperate to get Brock Purdy back under center to try to be more of a game manager, especially with this Giants pass rush. It's going to be lethal. It's still bad. So Abdul Carter, Sexy Dexy, everyone's coming after you. So you're going to have to be able to try to hold up the line a little bit. Overall, the Texans really just looked like they took the life out of this team. Now, the key matchup in this game comes on the Giants offensive side of the ball and Niners defensive side of the ball. So look, can Jackson Dart move the ball against this Robert Saleh defense? That is the question. The Niners, they have injuries. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, both out on the defense, both key players. But the Giants, they also have offensive injuries to counterbalance. You have Neighbors and Cam Scabito, they're both hurt. If Jackson Dart does get time in the pocket, though, he can exploit this Niners weekend defense with either his legs or tossing for a first down. Similar situations to CJ Stroud last week. When he's given time, he can carve up a softer pass rush with a weaker secondary. The deciding factor in this is the balance between the pass protection and the defensive pressure. I love this matchup. But why do I love this matchup? Why do I love it? Well, when you dive deeper into the numbers, and when I stall even longer to bring my notes up because I don't think I wrote the right thing here, we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait to give you the exact answer of why, and that truly comes down to the fact that you probably already clicked away from this show, but that doesn't matter. That's fine. What we are going to be focused on is the fact that in this game, what you should be taking is, where are all my things? Is that you should be, I don't know, whatever. Here's what I'm going to bet. I'm going to keep the Giants. I'm going to bet the Giants at +2.5. I like them keep it within 2 here. Wait until kickoff. You'll probably get them at +3. Whatever. There's all that stalling. There you go. What do you want from me? I'm not Jessica Simpson, people. Now, next matchup is Cincinnati versus Chicago Bears. 1 p.m. kickoff. This is the last of the 1 p.m. games that we are going to be featuring. The Bears are 3-point favorites. 61% of the bets. No, Bengals are 3-point favorites. My bad. 61% of the bets, 62% of the money backing them. And now the Bears, they just lost it against the Ravens. The whole Lamar situation was weird. He was playing, he wasn't playing, he was playing, he wasn't playing. That's kind of like cat and mouse play I play every single night with my sweet treat that I like to have before bed. Am I going to have it? Ooh, I don't know, maybe I'm a good guy. No, but I always have it. But in this situation, Lamar didn't play. He played on Thursday, and he carved it up. Regardless, the Bears got torched. And this defense could not keep up with the Ravens at all. It felt like Tyler Huntley was moving the ball almost at will, and they were getting deep. They were getting touchdowns. They were getting 7, not 3s. And now, this was supposed to be a game where the Bears were going to be able to run it on this Ravens defense, throw the screens, control the pace, but it felt like they couldn't get first downs. Right side, when they did get a first down, it was a sick pass from Roma Dunze, but the offense felt clunky. Caleb wasn't playing his best. He had a pick when he was backed up in his own end zone. Not good. The Bengals, though, sure, the Bears' loss was bad, but they didn't lose to the Jets. They lost to the Ravens. Oh, but the Ravens at the time only then had one more win than the Jets, but we know they're two different teams. They lost to the Jets. They gave up 38 points. The offense doesn't concern me right now. I mean, when Joe Burrow went out, you have your sick receivers, your running back's pretty good in Chase Brown, your offensive line is abysmal. So whenever you picked up Joe Flacco, I thought that's going to be interesting to dive deeper into that. But when you do dive deeper into that, you realize, okay, Flacco is good. This defense is that bad. They gave up 38 points against the Jets offense. I'll say that again, 38 points against the Jets offense. I mean, they just can't hang. Plain and simple, the Bears are going to absolutely be able to score in this one. The key to this game is how the Bengals rush defense is going to hold up against the Chicago rush attack. Now, Ben Johnson, famous for his offensive schemes, we saw that in Detroit, especially when you're going to run the ball. They had great power running in their previous 3 games. They average 154 rushing yards. So they were able to get DeAndre Swift moving, able to get the rest of these running backs moving. And now that's one number to watch. The other side of the coin is who they're playing against. The Bengals' rush defense has been terrible. They give up 183 to 184 rushing yards per game in their last 3 games. So that's a massive, massive mismatch heading into this one. A ton of yards, plain and simple, is probably going to happen in that one. It's just not good. My pick is the Bears are going to pound the rock. I love them to win by field goal or more. Simple as that. Simple as that, people. And now, this is the part of the show where I really like to dive into more of a storyline. What's going on around the league? Well, what I will say is what we saw in this Ravens game yesterday. Lamar, he's back. Lamar is fully back. He got fully healthy, but he's not fully healthy. You could see in the first half of the game, he was still like, oh, I'm a little bit scared. But then, right as it was a 3rd down conversion, I thought to myself, he's not using his legs at all this game. He ran for a 1st down, and then from there, the Miami defense just saw the threat of Lamar Jackson running, and it was over. Simple as that. Simple as that. Now, with Lamar Jackson and his legs, it really adds another element to this Ravens team. However, this Ravens team does need to step up on defense. There were some horrible calls against the Dolphins offense, which honestly should not have been called. I had the Ravens in the under, so I didn't really complain. I won both, by the way. I won both. So that is the fact of that. That's just the fact of life, man. That's really what it is. So I do like this Ravens team to win the NFC North. It's going to be a tight race. They're going to be running. They have 6 NFC North games still left on the schedule, more towards the end of the season, which is why I like them so much to win the NFC North. Now, the Dolphins, they are abysmal. Tua cannot get it together. Tua is a great quarterback in the scheme. The scheme's not working. It's broken. It felt like, look, this was sick. Kind of like the Saints last year. When they started running that motion, I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. But then it all fell apart. I felt like it was that for the Dolphins, but over a 3-year span. Tyreek Hill out, Jalen Waddle out. Tua's not playing well. Ever since he got that second really bad concussion, you just know, okay, he should probably hang it up. I think they should blow the whole thing up, start from scratch. They came out with a press conference today saying Mike McDaniel, Adam Schefter posted, is the coach for the Miami Dolphins the rest of the year. Should he be the coach for the Miami Dolphins the rest of the year? They're not doing anything. So if you're tanking and you want to get a high draft pick, you might as well keep the coach in there. I don't know if it's kind of like college where you might have some type of firing buyout type of clause, but look, if your goal and you're already given up on the season is to get a better player in the draft, stop. Just stop playing. Just call it a day and be like, all right, well, let's blow this whole thing up. And that's exactly what they should be doing. So I think Mike McDaniel should be the head coach until the end of the year, and then they should fire him. And then Tua, honestly, he works great in the scheme, but if Mike McDaniel's offensive mind isn't running the scheme, then it's not going to be worth it to them. So I would honestly get rid of Tua. You have Jalen Waddle, a fantastic receiver. You can get a great trade for him and really blow this thing up. Suck for 2 years, rebuild, get back better. That's honestly what I think should be done with this team. And Mike McDaniel, dude, you're going to be an offensive coordinator somewhere for sure after the year. I'll take you on the Eagles if you want to come. I will welcome you with open arms. Simple as that. But there's some history there. There's some history in this Chiefs-Bills game. Chiefs-Bills, it feels like it's always the biggest game of the regular season every single time. Feels like it always gets played in this 425 slate where they have 2 terrible other games during it, so everyone's just watching the Chiefs-Bills. Right now, Josh Allen, it's the first time he is a home dog in forever. The only other time was against Mahomes, and Mahomes beat him. So, simple as that. The Chiefs right now, with the Bills, they're 65% of the bets and 73% of the money back them, and the Bills are currently 2-point dogs. Now, the Bills absolutely dominated the Panthers. I think after seeing Bryce Young's out, we knew Andy Dalton coming in was not going to be that guy. Crazy to think last year we're thinking, oh, you know what? Is Andy Dalton just going to start over Bryce Young? Like, is that just going to be the way you do it? No. Bryce Young does kind of have this team moving, but without him, this team's awful. And this Bills team coming off a bye, we all know McDermott off a bye, but it was really, really important that they dominated the game right now. 40-9, that's domination. Now, there was a point in this game where I was like, oh, what's going to be happening here? Is this going to be close? No, it wasn't. He literally, poured bad part of my take, of course I watched that, said his Nana wanted to see him smile. Trust me, 49 smiling to completely destroy them. James Cook game, under 20 rushing attempts, and then he had over 200 rushing yards. I don't know the exact numbers, people here. That's not what we're diving into. Now, it was an insane performance, but he was also prima donna diva on Hard Knocks, and also Hard Knocks sucked this year. I mean, can we just get it together? Maybe it's because, there's not that much drama, but they were just boring. I ate a meat stick before this, and now it's kind of stuck in my throat. Yeah, what are you going to do about that one? That's a clip, but too bad only 40 people watch this show. Let's hope it's for 40 before kickoff. Total blowout, start to finish. Chiefs, they played well against Commanders, except Patrick Mahomes did throw 2 turnovers on the first 2 drives. The game was 7-7, tied at halftime, and it never felt like this game was out of control for the Chiefs, or did the Commanders have a chance of winning this? No, you knew Mahomes was going to suffocate this. You know the Spags defense was going to suffocate the Commanders in the second half. It's truly as simple as that. I mean, the Chiefs defense did step up big time. They also capitalized on a Mariota turnover. They did their job. It was not a top-tier offense, though. Might have been different if Jaden Daniels was playing, but it really wasn't. Offensively, the Chiefs feel like they're in full rhythm, moving the ball again. Rashee Rice is a huge addition. It does seem like they might be out without Travis. I don't know. It's either Travis Hunter or Travis Kelce. I think Travis Hunter was questionable. I saw Matthew Berry tweet something. I didn't read it. I just kind of thought about that. But this team's inevitable. The offense is going to be rolling. Now, the key matchup here is a quarterback duel. Josh Allen is notorious for being great against bad defenses. Now, honestly, he's probably just great all the time. Kind of like having a pizza bagel. You're always like, oh yeah, no, I could go for that. You eat it and you go, oh, fantastic. It's just really that great. And now, this is going to be the biggest matchup of the week. We'd be kind of sick if it was a Sunday night game, but again, they always play in this weird 425 slot. So it's going to be coming off that high. Look, they've had some great matchups through the years. You had the one where they scored 21 points in, I don't know what it was, 3 seconds. Absolutely insane. And these guys are popular, right? You know, the one quarterback is the face of the league, and his best friend, the tight end on the team, is dating the most popular, or engaged to the most popular woman in the entire world. Then on the other side, you have the quarterback dating a bona fide movie star, 5 stars, whatever, maybe Oscars. I don't know what she's nominated for, but that great. Honestly, that fantastic. So that's a key to the game, is just how popular they are. Over their last 4 regular season meetings, Mahomes is 1-4 straight up and against the spread versus Allen. He's failed to cover 5.9 points per game. Now, Mahomes does own him in the playoffs, which I think that is 4-0 straight up, but Mahomes has 4 straight losses to Josh Allen against the spread and straight up this season. I understand Josh Allen's always like, oh, I need to get revenge for him, and it's probably flip-flops regular season to playoffs, but it doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes, you gotta win one. You gotta win one. But there is concern. We talked about the Chiefs offensive unit. We talked about the Bills offensive unit. We talked about the Chiefs defensive unit. The Bills defensive unit is what scares me. They have key injuries out, and you're going to have to play your butts off if you want a chance against this Mahomes offense, especially because it's not the offense that we saw last year where they kind of dink and dive, get their first downs off the field. No. They're going to hit you in the mouth for a 30-yard gain with Xavier Worthy down the field, and then Rashee Rice for 20 yards, and then you have Travis Kelce for 10 yards, and then another 30 with some yak. They are going to attack you on all levels. And now, sure, they have Kareem Hunt as their starting quarterback, but who cares? Pacheco's not that good anyway. I mean, he was great, but then he always lost a step. I know history says here, go with the Bills. But honestly, the fact that Josh Allen doesn't have any receivers, which we didn't touch on, and the fact that their defense isn't as great as the Chiefs defense, I'll just play the better team here. I'll play the line that doesn't make sense. I'll take the Chiefs anything under 3. I locked them in at -1.5. Sunday Night Football, Seahawks versus Commanders, 8:20 kickoff. Commanders are at +3, and 22% of the bets and 28% of the money are backing them. But I couldn't pick a side in this game. I think Jaden Daniels brings so much uncertainty. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop on the Seahawks team, or maybe they are just that legit and I'm not power rating them correctly. But we're going to look at the total in this game because I feel better about that. The total right now sits at 47.5, and the over has 42% of the bets and 62% of the tickets on them. Commanders, we touched on it. They had a rough week last week, only putting up, I believe, 7 against the Chiefs themselves. Patrick Mahomes, they did hold him to 7 points in the first half with 2 takeaways, which is impressive. Defense collapsed, but honestly, no matter who's playing Mahomes, that defense is going to collapse anyway. Sometimes you just need offensive firepower. Mariota can only bring so much. Terry McLaurin did great. Terry McLaurin now out. Debo, great in the beginning of the year. Now not as good. And I think that's really the key here to this game, is that he's just not that good. when you're looking at Mariota. Great guy, I'm sure. I'm sure we can be BFFs, but he's no Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels is returning this week, and now hopefully he is at close to near to full health. I don't think they would be trying to roll him out on the hamstring because he can risk injury, and that is the darling of the organization, but it's going to be tough. With everyone healthy, though, this Commanders offense should do better. If Jaden can convert on fourth downs, it should be better. The Seahawks, their offense looks incredible right now. Sam Darnold's dialed in. They're coming off a bye. JSN is just able to catch everything. Coming into the season, I did not think Houston's offensive line was going to be able to protect Darnold enough. But Darnold can toss the ball, and he's been playing fantastic. Cooper Kupp even had a few big moments in their previous game. The tight ends now getting involved in the offense. This team might be for real. Last week, they put up 27 points against the Houston Texans. So 2 weeks ago, last game they played, they put up 27 points, which is impressive considering I think outside of them, this Houston Texans defense is averaging like 12.66 points allowed. So they are a sneaky 5-2 team, but they might be here to stay with how this game's playing out. Key matchup here really comes down to Jane Daniels' health, right? If he's playing, if there's any type of dynamic matchup changes, like he's going to be able to move the ball more than Mariota did. Is his hamstring 100% or not? I don't know. If I knew that, I'd be more confident on this, but I'm not more confident on it. But I am confident that his ability to throw the ball down the field, extend the plays, get the first down, is going to help. They're going to have to go on fourth down, and I think Dan Quinn knows that this is pretty much a do-or-die spot for the Commanders. So right now, it does look like he's trending to playing. I believe he is playing. The total is sitting at a key number of 47.5. I'm going to take that right now. Boom. So recap, best bets for the slate. I like Texans, -1.5. Giants, +2.5. Wait, though, that's going to get to 3. Bears, -3 right now. -2.5 some books, so shop around. Chiefs, -2. I locked it in at -1.5. And then Seahawks over 47.5 for the Commanders game. People, that is all we have for the Affaka Show today. Don't forget to like, subscribe. It was muted. I had to do it within time. There's other people lurking around, so I couldn't be that loud. I couldn't be that rambunctious. But we will get after in the live streams, in the TikTok, in the YouTube. And people, if you're watching this show, and if you made it this far, you're probably one of 3 people, so shout out A-Bone. And just, I don't know. Just when you look yourself in the mirror, just be like, God, I love football. We are blessed to have football. And just remember, sometimes just throw a thing of bacon on the pan and just decide to take a deep breath with a sip of coffee and go, God, I love ball. God, I love ball. I don't like the months without ball. God, I love ball.